Hey guys, this is Mohit for Thenika. This is going to be the third part of the Fusion Basics video series. If you haven't watched the previous videos, click on these links to watch them. If you're liking the series, do consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so we'll continue from where we left off previously. I'll go ahead and delete this shape 3D node. There, I'll add an image plane 3D node. Shift spacebar image plane 3D. Yes. Connect the merge to the image plane 3D and connect this to the merge 3D. If I drag the image plane into the 3D view, you will see that it has the same resolution as the merge node. Now, if I drag this color correction node in here, you'll see that we have the correct resolution, but we need to scale it. So we'll go to the image plane 3D, go to the settings. This is the transform controls. Click on that. Now go to the scale control and increase the value. Not so much. If we hold Ctrl and then drag, we can move in small increments there. A really cool thing about Fusion is that if I just box select all these nodes, Ctrl C to copy, go to File, New. It opens a new composition. We were working in this one. Now we have a new composition. Click here, Ctrl V to paste, and we have the whole node setup copied into a new composition. Isn't that really cool? So this means that if you create a node tree and you want to reuse it, it's easy to do it in Fusion. Let me close this. Back into our main composition. Say we are working on a project in which shot after shot we are applying the same effects using these same nodes. In such a case, we will not be required to recreate these nodes over and over again. In fact, we can go to the loader node, go to the settings, browse, search for a new video. In my case, it's the same video with a different color. Yes. See, now we have a new video in our loader. And if I want to make some changes in the nodes, then I can do that too. That is really handy when we are working on a bigger project. Also, if you see here, the output of one node is connected to a single input of another node, which doesn't have to be the case. I'll just go ahead and delete these nodes. Shift spacebar, add a background node. Add a fast noise. Connect this fast noise to the background. Change the color of the background to white. And this is what we get. Go to the settings of the fast noise. Increase detail, contrast, scale. Let it be that way. Now, to this background node, I'll add one blur node. Now click over here and add a color correction node. I'll connect the output of this to this. Then I'll add a glow. I can connect the output of the background into the soft glow also. So meaning the output of a node can be connected to the inputs of multiple nodes. In fact, I can connect the output of this node to the second input of this node, or to the third input if ever necessary. I'll just take these off. If I merge these two and drag it to the viewer, in the blur node, I'm going to increase the blur size. See how it has affected this merge. Now here in the color corrector, I'll change the color. So this is the blur and this is the color correction. And when merged together, we get this. I can also merge these two. So connect this to this. Now this setup doesn't make much sense, but you get the idea. Next, we'll see how to animate values in Fusion. Say I want to change the value of this gain. At frame 0, I'll right click over here and click on animate. Go to say 20 and decrease the value. Now when I play this, you'll see the value of gain being animated. So this can be done to any of these values. I can right click for the glow size and animate. Go to 0 and increase the size. Second time when I move this, a keyframe is automatically added. As I move between the keyframes, you can see what exactly is happening. Now how do we control these keyframes? We can either use the timeline editor or the spline editor. First we'll go to the timeline editor. If you see over here, all the nodes inside the flow area is listed. Now say I have selected the soft glow, go to the timeline view and click on this selection, and only the selected soft glow will be visible. Now to expand the view, I can click over here and drag and move this bar over. These are the keyframes. Now if I click on this keyframe, click and drag, and I can move the keyframe around. To move inside this timeline editor, I'll go to this line, the cursor changes. Now click and drag, and I can move inside the timeline. We had animated 2 of the sliders, so if I just open this, I have the gain and the glow size. So I can separately move the keyframes of each slider. Close this. I'll deselect the selection. We can also shrink and expand this timeline view by holding Ctrl and rolling the scroller. Clicking on the middle mouse button and dragging, we can pan around. We can also adjust the effect of the nodes through time. For example, if I want this blur node to start affecting the scene at frame number 150, I can just go click and drag it to 150. If you see here, the moment I reach 150, the blur starts to affect the scene. See the difference? Put it back to 0. We can do that at this end also. Now say in the flow area, I'll just add a loader node, get this clip inside. Now go to the timeline. By clicking in the middle and dragging, I can place this clip anywhere in the timeline. I can go to the end, click and drag to trim the clip. Same at the start. Ctrl Z to undo. I'll just go to the flow area and delete it. If I click on this keyframe, you'll see that this keyframe is at frame 24. If I change it to 50, the keyframe moves to 50. Now that is because this tab is set to time. If I set it to offset and press 50, it will offset 50 frames. This is the fit button. I think that's enough about the timeline view. Next, we'll go to the spline editor. Fit. If you see, the spline editor is a graphical representation of the interpolations between the keyframes. So these are the keyframes and this is the interpolation between them. Right now the interpolation is linear. We can select the keyframe individually by clicking on the keyframe or box selecting it. We can box select multiple keyframes. If I want to give a slight ease in and ease out, I can click on this one. It gives us a little bit of ease in and ease out. You can play with these buttons. This is linear, constant. I just put it to this one. This will give us a loop, reverse. Play with these. I'll go to smooth of these. Even in the spline editor, you have the same selection button, fit button. If I box select these keyframes, click on this, holding the control, I can scroll to zoom out. Now, if I move this, I can stretch the timing of the animation. Same thing here. Also, by clicking on this shape box, click and drag, I can move this box to tweak the animation. So the spline editor is a very handy tool for getting desired animation of this. We can on and off this. I think that's all about the graph editor. So that concludes the third part of the Fusion Basics video series. If you like this video, do put a like, comment, share, and do subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next.